Hi. So, I don't really know where this episode is going to go, because I don't really have. I mean, I have a story, but I don't really have like a. I don't know. I guess when I tell stories on here, I usually have an idea of obviously the story that I want to tell and kind of an overarching theme or something I learned or an insight or something to share. And I mean, I guess I have that in this one too, but it's just a little bit different. I guess I'm kind of in a state of shock right now, based on what I saw last night. So I'm not sure if you guys have seen it. Maybe not. But there's this documentary called The Cove, and it's basically exposing this mass dolphin slaughter. I mean, it's horrific in Taiji, Japan. And I've heard about this documentary for years. I think it came out in 2009. And I've heard about it and I've read things about it and I've seen people comment on it about how it's just horrific and they cried the whole time and it made them, very upset and all of this. And, I just kind of looked away. And I don't like that. And I've been, there's so many problems in the world. There's so many things that passionate activists talk about, and I'm aware of these things, at least to some degree. I hear about them, my mind processes them, or my mind at least hears them. I don't know if my mind actually processes them, but my mind hears them, and I know they're going on, but I find myself in a pickle because I don't know what to do. I don't know how to help. I've never been one that thinks that just like donating to a cause really does anything. I just don't even really feel that good when I do that. And so unless I'm on the front lines doing something, I don't really feel like I'm helping. Maybe that's ignorance, I'm not sure. But so oftentimes I just kind of look away when it comes to a lot of the problems in the world, and I don't like that. I don't like that I do that, but it's what I've known to do. It's what I've learned, I guess, over the course of my life. But my husband has been wanting to watch this documentary, The Cove, and he asked me if I wanted to watch it with him last night, and I'm like, sure. Like something I almost didn't consciously choose, again, with these situations in life where we kind of, something just comes before us, and it's almost like we don't choose, it just happens. I've talked about that before with the skydiving. When I went skydiving, I almost didn't feel like I had a choice. It just kind of came. I was terrified, but then I didn't even feel like I chose. I just did it. Something wanted me to do it. And I felt the same way with this documentary. And my husband put it on last night, and I was kind of in a shitty mood, if I'm going to be real. I just was kind of tired. I've been tired lately. Just kind of shut off. And, I've talked about this in recent episodes. I've really been trying to crack myself open lately, but, I do tend to run myself into the ground. And I've been way better at trying to relax lately and actually relaxing. Had some very relaxing nights this past week. But as a kind of a general overarching, I won't call it a rule, but I'm pretty tired a lot of the time. And last night was just one of those nights where I was just feeling it, but I'm like, I'm just going to put this documentary on, see where it goes. I was a little scared or nervous to see how I would react to it because, like I said, I've heard things about it. But we put it on, and it was shocking. I mean, first of all, it was beautifully done. It was very well made. It kept my attention the entire time. I don't think my husband and I both said a word to each other the entire time, and that's pretty rare. Even when we're watching something that we enjoy, we make comments on it, or sometimes we'll look stuff up on our phone, to check facts, or if we're shocked by something, we look up something. And we usually have a dialogue, at least a little bit, even for something that we're really into. But this one in particular, we just were both silent the entire time, about an hour and a half. Many parts of the documentary, I just was in tears. I could not believe what was going on. It's like you hear about these things in words, but then when you see an image or a video. It's horrific. I can't even put it into words. It completely sliced me open just watching this documentary. And I watched it through. I don't want to give the details, too many details if you haven't watched it and you want to. But one part in particular really stuck out to me when they explained how it works in Taiji. When, every September, I think it is, for 6 months, they hunt dolphins. And it's horrible how they all these fishermen, they get on boats and they create a wall of sound because the sound scares the dolphins because they're so sensitive to sound. So they're in these boats, and it's just horrible. They're in these boats and they're hitting these poles, I guess you could call them poles, creating this wall of sound that terrifies these dolphins. And these dolphins basically start running for their life or swimming for their life, and they come closer and closer and closer to shore because these boats trap them in, and they trap them into this cove, and then the next morning they just slaughter them. And it was like this idea of scaring this precious animal to trap it in this little tight area to then slaughter it. And it's like I almost want to throw up talking about it. And it makes me almost I'm getting teared up right now because I don't know what to do with it. I can't really process it. I've been really trying to think about why these people do these things, and the documentary gives some good reason, or not, I wouldn't say good reason, but at least reason. A lot of this is the product of an empire. I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and you can't tell me otherwise. Just this, I think it's 400 years of tradition. There's a lot of weird, sketchy shit with it, though. I don't want to ruin it, but I guess if you're going to watch it, maybe stop listening to me because I want to talk about it. But there's a lot of stuff. I mean, they took some whale meat from a local market, and this team that did the documentary, they did some science experiments on it, and they found that it was dolphin meat. Well, dolphins, I guess, have really high, almost very toxic levels of mercury. So why are they putting dolphin meat into whale meat? And people are eating it thinking it's whale meat, and they're actually getting mercury poisoning from this. And mercury poisoning does horrible things to the body over time. They also were putting dolphin meat in children's lunches in Japan. And then there's so much. I can't even, I find myself getting very reactive right now, and I never try to be reactive, but I'm very upset by this. I don't know what to do about it. It branched me out into so many things. I was actually freaked out after I watched the documentary. I was silent for 15 minutes. Again, my husband and I just kind of sat there in silence. We didn't really know what to say or do. And I was walking around our house, and I kind of freaked out a little bit, looking around at all the things I own, all of the energy that I consume. Most of the stuff I own, I don't even know really where it comes from. Even my food, I like to think that I, eat ethically sourced meat and things like that because I go to Whole Foods and I look at their guidelines that they display, and it's okay, that's cool, but is that just marketing? What is really happening? I don't know. I mean, I believe the marketing that's shown to me, but is that okay? I mean, is that right? Because, I mean, what are the laws and rules around marketing? People can say whatever the hell they want. I'm just starting to freak out about my carbon footprint, about what's happening to the earth, about what other humans are doing, about how to fix things, how to fix it. Should we fix it? How do we fix it? What all is there to fix? I mean, it's a rabbit hole. You can go in, with the ocean, with the earth, with the climate, with animals becoming extinct, with the bees, with ethically sourced food and farming and hunting, and I mean, it is just a rabbit hole. And I mean, you look at an animal like a dolphin. I was talking about this last night with my husband after we kind of like broke our silence and started actually processing what we saw, and I'm still processing it. I have not made sense of a lot of it. My brain just, I think it hurts too much, and I have to go through the sadness and the pain of what I saw first before I can actually fully process it. But I was talking to him about dolphins, and it's like, we're humans, okay? We're humans, and for some reason, we think we're the superior species, and maybe it's because we're conscious and we can cognitively think and process things. But another thing the documentary pointed out was that, dolphins are fascinating, intriguing creatures, and it's been shown that they're self-aware. They see themselves in mirrors when they look. They're very playful, they're social, they're affectionate creatures, they're very smart. And they have their own language, and they communicate, they see, in very complex ways, and there's all these amazing things about them. So why are we killing them? Why aren't we learning about them? Why aren't we trying to coexist with them? Why aren't we trying to look at them as something, as that they have something to show us, instead of us just taking from them? It's just it. This is the way my mind works. And I understand that not everybody's mind works this way. We're all different. We have different upbringings and experiences and physiology and ancestral DNA and culture and all these things. But there are just some things I really struggle to wrap my mind around. I don't know what to make of this. And what I saw last night, I still don't know what to do with it, but one thing that I've taken away from this is that I can no longer look away. I have to just keep looking, and I think that's all that us humans can do, is for these really hard, complicated problems that we don't know how to fix, at least right now. All we can do is we can just keep looking, keep trying to see, trying to expose ourselves to what is actually going on out there. And then I think enough of that, solutions will organically arise. If we just keep seeing these things and actually thinking about them. Because like I said, like I started this with, for the longest time, I've been looking away because I don't know what to do with a lot of these problems. They hurt, they're painful. I just want to cry. I just want to cry thinking about today, like the dolphins being killed today. I think the hunting, if I read it correctly, the hunting season is 6 months starting in September. That's right now. It's horrible. It's horrible. And this brave, courageous team made this documentary. And if you have not watched it, I highly recommend that you do. It's called The Cove. I highly recommend that you do because it's very well made, and they have so much courage to do what they did and set up cameras to film this horror, this tragedy that is occurring there every single year. It's nasty. And I want to become more aware, and that's always the goal. It hurts though. It's hard to see these things. But, it's opportunistic. I've never been one for New Year's resolutions because I just think that whenever you have a realization, or at least in my life, whenever I have a realization, I want to act on it. I don't want to wait for something that is just kind of a societal thing that it's more, it doesn't feel as genuine. It kind of feels like something just everybody does kind of on rotation every year. But, opportunistically, we are coming up on the new year. And my goal here in 2020 is to really become aware of what the hell is going on out there, aware of not only out there, but what decisions am I making in my life, with what I eat, what I consume, what I purchase, how much I recycle, compost, what I'm throwing away, how much can I reuse. My husband is fantastic with that. I call him like the king of efficiency. He has all these amazing little tactics to save things and reuse them and fix things without having to go buy any new materials. He's really good with that. I'm very fortunate to have him in my life. It's one of the reasons I am very fortunate to have him. But I'm just trying to figure out what I can do to make this earth a better place. because watching that documentary, another thing, it just, these people, they go through so much stress. It's very apparent, but it feels so meaningful, so rich. And I think that's what I crave, making a difference, whether it's in an individual's life or bettering the earth, whatever. I mean, man, this documentary really opened my eyes. It cracked me open. It's another theme I talk about. I've been on this mission to crack myself open because a lot of the times I feel shut off and just blech. I'm just closed off because there's so much out there. There's so much going on, and it hurts to see. But I'm trying to crack myself open. And I think, like I said, all we can do as human beings is to keep looking. Don't look away. Don't look away, because it just doesn't, it protects us in the short term, protects us from emotion, it protects us from being overwhelmed or just flooded with unknown feelings. But at least what I found, my personal experience, it hurts to be cracked open, it hurts to see these things, but it's better in the long run when when you expand your awareness and you expand your spectrum of what you see. You become more of an integrated human being. You have more creativity, more ideas, because you know what's going on. You expand your mind in that way. You can help, you can do more when you know more. It's just how it works. Oh, I feel myself rambling now. Anyway, if you haven't seen that documentary, highly recommend that you watch it. Prepare yourself. It is intense, but I think it is important for everyone to see. I will say this, it is confusing, and it is a bit discouraging because this documentary was made about 10 years ago. It was made in 2009, and these slaughters still go on. I don't know what to make of that, because it's a very popular documentary, and my husband told me that Joe Rogan had a couple guests on recently. One he's a 20-something-year-old doing this huge ocean cleanup project, and then another one, the producer of this documentary, The Cove, that I'm talking about. So he's had two of those recently that really explain well what's going on out there in regards to just this issue with our oceans. And so I think I'm going to watch those pretty soon, just to kind of expand my awareness and, fill my circle with some new knowledge, because I don't know what the hell is going on. I am so fixated on myself and my own little bubble that sometimes, like, when it pops and I see what the hell's going on out there, I'm like, damn, I need to do more. I need to wake up. I need to stop sleeping. And another thing, it's, when you start seeing all these huge problems out there, these really big, horrific problems, whether this, I don't know if this is, how do I want to say this? They really, not to discount anyone's problems because problems are problems, pain is pain, people are going through shit, I get it, but it really makes you reconsider how big some of your problems are. Some of the things I worry about in my day-to-day, or some of the little bickering arguments that my husband and I get in, or some of the little things that stress me out during the day. I look at that documentary last night, and it's like, damn, a lot of the shit that I complain about is not even worth expending energy on. I would rather put my energy forth in actually learning about how I can fix something as horrific as what I saw last night. So that's a cool little shift that I think happens when you start to, branch out and expand and learn more about your world and Earth and, God, what is going on out there? I'm curious to see where all of this goes. I feel like we're just depleting things and we're so disconnected with nature, and it's a problem. And I think it starts at the individual level. I want to fix everything and everyone, but truth be told, I got to look at myself first in the mirror, look at my household, my decisions, and my knowledge and my awareness. And if I can do that, then I'll see what I know. Can't even talk anything past that. It starts with me, starts with looking in the mirror. So yeah, again, if you're inspired, go watch that documentary. And maybe we can talk about ideas on reducing our carbon footprint and just becoming more efficient. That may be something I start talking about as I tap into this more, because that hit me last night, something I really want to tap into and learn about. So if you are someone who already does this or already has some savvy ideas on ways to just be more efficient, leave less of a footprint on the earth, and just do things better, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. All right, well, it's the end of this one for me, and I believe the next episode I will be posting will be an interview, so look out for that. I'm going to actually interview my friend Miles. He has an amazing story with drug addiction. He almost died. He had a near-death experience where he was out of his body on an overdose, and he's done a lot of psychedelics and severe intense treatments since then to kind of shape his life and restructure it after just some serious years with drug abuse. And he's got an interesting story. So I'm gonna interview him. That should be up next after this episode, if I'm planning correctly. If not, sorry about that. But it's how I'm envisioning it right now. So look out for that. And cool. That is all. Until next time.